When we hear the words catastrophe or natural disaster, it is very likely that we think of events that are beyond human control and that in most cases are unavoidable. But nature is not always to blame for these events. The human being is to blame for the most devastating events caused to the environment. Throughout the history of our planet, a large number of powerful events have happened that changed the history of the Earth even before human existence. However, in this video we will see a list of man-made environmental disasters that have affected different ecosystems, especially in modern times. But first, don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button and click the bell icon to be notified of all new videos we will upload every week. It is difficult to determine which was the worst man-made natural disaster, as there are several incidents with devastating consequences. However, some of the most serious disasters were: Number 10. The Bhopal disaster. Also known as the Bhopal gas tragedy, was a catastrophic industrial accident that occurred on December 3, 1984 at the Union Carbide India Limited, UCIL, pesticide plant in Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh, India. A leak of methyl isocyanate, MIC, gas and other chemicals from the plant resulted in the deaths of an estimated 15,000 people and injury to more than 500,000 others. The incident is considered to be one of the world's worst industrial disasters. The company and government officials have been criticized for their handling of the crisis and for their inadequate response to the disaster. Number 9. Castle Bravo nuclear disaster. Castle Bravo is the code name given to the largest nuclear explosion ever. The Castle Bravo nuclear disaster was an incident that occurred on March 1, 1954 on Bikini Island, in the Marshall Islands, during a nuclear test conducted by the United States. It was the first in a series of nuclear tests known as Operation Castle, and was the most powerful nuclear test ever conducted by the United States. The bomb's performance was significantly higher than expected, with an energy release of 15 megatons, nearly twice as powerful as anticipated. The radiation released affected the workers and the local population, causing serious illnesses and the deaths of several people. It also caused significant environmental damage to nearby islands and in the ocean. Despite the measures taken to control the release of radiation and protect the population, the long-term effects on health and the environment remain evident. Number 8. The Prestige oil tanker disaster. The Prestige disaster was an incident that occurred on November 13, 2002, when the oil tanker Prestige suffered a rupture in its hull and sank off the coast of Galicia, Spain. The ship was carrying a large amount of crude oil, which spilled into the sea due to the rupture. The spill caused a large amount of environmental damage, including the death of thousands of seabirds, the contamination of beaches and the destruction of coastal ecosystems. It also had a significant economic impact on the region's fishing and tourism industry. Despite efforts to collect the oil and clean up the coast, much of the spilled oil still lies on the seabed and continues to affect the environment and marine life. Number 7. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch is a huge area of the Pacific Ocean filled with plastic debris and other trash. The patch is caused by human activities such as littering and poor waste management, and it harms marine life, sea birds, and other marine species. It is located between Hawaii and California and is estimated to be twice the size of Texas. It is also known as plastic soup and is a major environmental problem that requires international cooperation to solve. The garbage patch is not a physical island, but rather a collection of marine debris that is held together by ocean currents. Plastic in the patch can take hundreds of years to degrade, and it poses a significant threat to marine life that mistake it for food or become entangled in it. Number 6. The Kuwait oil fires. The Kuwait oil fires were a series of fires that broke out at oil wells and facilities in Kuwait during and after the Gulf War in 1990 to 1991. The fires were started by Iraqi forces as they retreated from Kuwait, and they lasted for months, with some not being fully extinguished until November 1991. The fires caused immense environmental damage, releasing large amounts of pollutants into the air and damaging the ecosystem. The burning oil also caused health problems for local residents and firefighters, with respiratory issues and other illnesses reported. The fires also caused significant economic damage, with the destruction of hundreds of oil wells and facilities leading to a loss of revenue for Kuwait. It was considered one of the largest oil spills in history. Number 5. The Exxon Valdez oil spill. The Exxon Valdez oil spill occurred on March 24, 1989, when the Exxon Valdez, an oil tanker, struck a reef in Prince William Sound, Alaska. The tanker spilled an estimated 11 million gallons of crude oil, which affected over 1,300 miles of coastline. The oil killed thousands of animals, including birds, sea otters, and fish, and caused long-term damage to the ecosystem. The cleanup effort involved thousands of workers and cost billions of dollars. Exxon, The company responsible for the tanker faced significant legal and public relations repercussions. The incident led to stricter regulations for tanker safety and oil spill response in the US. It also raised awareness about the risks and consequences of oil spills, and the importance of taking precautions to prevent them. Number 4. The Darvaza gas crater. Also known as the Door to Hell or Gates of Hell, is a natural gas field in Turkmenistan that has been burning continuously since 1971. The crater was created when Soviet engineers set the field on fire to prevent the release of methane gas, but they didn't expect the fire to last this long. The fire has been burning for over 50 years, and it is estimated to have another 250 to 300 years before the gas reserves are depleted. The crater is approximately 230 feet wide and 70 feet deep, and it emits a constant flame and a large amount of heat. The area around the crater is also affected by the fumes, and the local wildlife is affected by the heat and toxic gases. The site is a popular tourist destination, and it has become a symbol of human-made environmental disasters. Number 3. The Jilin chemical plant disaster occurred on November 13, 2005, when an explosion at a petrochemical plant in Jilin, China, released a large amount of toxic chemicals into the Songhua River. The explosion, caused by an accumulation of benzene, killed 6 people, injured dozens, and forced the evacuation of thousands. The chemicals released into the river included benzene and nitrobenzene, which are toxic and carcinogenic. The disaster had a significant impact on the environment and public health, and it caused a major disruption to the water supply for millions of people downstream. The Chinese government initially denied the extent of the disaster and kept it hidden from the public, but later acknowledged the problem and released information about the chemicals released. The disaster led to calls for stricter regulations and greater transparency on industrial accidents in China. Number 2. Chernobyl nuclear disaster. The Chernobyl nuclear accident occurred on April 26, 1986 at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant near Pripyat, Ukraine. It was caused by a combination of human error and design flaws in the plant's number 4 reactor. The explosion destroyed the roof of the reactor building and released a large amount of radioactive material into the environment. The released radiation mainly affected Ukraine, Russia, and Belarus, causing serious damage to the health of those exposed, including cases of cancer and birth defects. Around 350,000 people were evacuated from areas near the nuclear power plant, and exclusion zones were established to limit radiation exposure. Despite the measures taken to control the release of radiation and protect the population, the long-term effects on health and the environment remain evident. Number 1. The Fukushima Daiichi nuclear accident was a catastrophic failure at the Fukushima nuclear power plant, located in the northeastern coast of Japan, that occurred on March 11, 2011. The event was caused by a 9.0 magnitude earthquake and subsequent tsunami, which severely damaged the plant's cooling systems. As a result, 3 of the plant's 6 reactors experienced nuclear meltdowns, and radioactive materials were released into the air and ocean. The accident is considered the second worst nuclear power disaster in history, after the 1986 Chernobyl disaster. The incident prompted the evacuation of over 150,000 residents within a 20-kilometer radius of the plant, and many people still can't return to their homes. It also had a severe impact on the local economy and the fishing industry. The cleanup and decommissioning of the plant is expected to take decades and cost billions of dollars. All these disasters were preventable events caused by human actions or failures, which generated negative impacts on communities and the environment. It is important to identify and mitigate potential hazards to reduce the probability and severity of these disasters. So, that's it for today. We hope you enjoyed the video. Use the comment section below to tell us what you think about the video. Also, subscribe to our channel and click the bell button to be notified of all our latest videos.